The gymnasium lights buzzed faintly overhead, casting long shadows on the polished floor. It was supposed to be a place of strength and growth, where students learned teamwork and discipline. But for Emma, the gym had become a prison. She dangled from the rafters, wrists bound by a thick rope the bullies had looped around her arms. The laughter of her classmates echoed through the empty space as they recorded videos on their phones, whispering and sneering, feeding on her humiliation. The rope cut into her skin, her arms aching, but the pain was nothing compared to the fear and shame burning inside her chest. Emma's breath quickened. For a moment, she thought she would faint. But then something inside her shifted, something powerful. "No more," she whispered under her breath. Emma had always been the quiet one. After her father passed away the year before, she walked through school hallways with her head down, trying not to be noticed. But grief made her vulnerable, and the bullies noticed everything. They mocked her worn-out shoes, the lunch she packed from home, and the way her voice trembled when she was called on in class. She became their favorite target. At first, she endured it in silence. She told herself it wasn't worth fighting back. But every insult, every shove, every cruel prank stacked up inside her heart like heavy stones. Until that night in the gym, when they crossed the line. As the last of their footsteps faded and the gym doors clanged shut, Emma was left hanging, the rope digging deeper into her skin. Tears blurred her vision. But then her eyes caught something. On the equipment rack just below her feet was a pair of scissors, forgotten after a craft project earlier in the day. It was almost impossible to reach. Almost. Emma twisted her body, swinging slightly. Her wrist screamed in pain as the rope burned against her skin. But she kept swinging, stretching her legs until finally. Her toes brushed the scissors. They toppled to the floor with a metallic clatter. Panic surged in her chest. What if the janitor didn't come back for hours? What if she was stuck there, alone, humiliated? But she refused to let those thoughts win. Emma swung harder, reaching again with her toes. This time, she managed to nudge the scissors closer, close enough that she could catch them with the tip of her shoe. With trembling precision, she lifted the handle upward, inch by inch, until it rested in her bound hands. Her arms were shaking violently, but she pressed the blade against the rope and sawed with every ounce of strength she had left. Snap. The rope broke, and Emma crashed to the gym floor with a hard thud. Her breath left her in a gasp, but she was free. The next morning, the bullies waited for her to appear broken, humiliated beyond repair. Instead, Emma walked into school with her head high. Her arms bore red marks from the rope, but her eyes blazed with determination. Whispers spread quickly. Everyone had seen the video. Everyone expected Emma to vanish in shame. But she did the unthinkable. She walked straight into the principal's office and reported every single one of them. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. She told the truth with a steady voice, holding nothing back. For the first time, the bullies felt fear. Their parents were called. Suspensions were handed out. Phones were confiscated. But more importantly, the spell of silence was broken. Other students who had suffered quietly found the courage to speak up too. Emma's single act of bravery became a ripple that spread through the entire school. But the challenges didn't end there. The bully's friends turned cold toward her. Whispers followed her down the hallway. Snitch. Attention seeker. Some teachers looked at her with pity, others with unease, as if she were a reminder of something they wished they hadn't ignored. It hurt. It would have been so easy to retreat, to shrink back into her old shell. But Emma remembered the feeling of the rope cutting into her wrists, the helplessness of being strung up like she didn't matter. And she vowed never to feel that powerless again. She joined the debate club, even though her voice trembled at first. She volunteered to tutor younger students who struggled with reading, because she knew what it was like to feel small. Slowly, Emma built a new version of herself, not the broken girl they once mocked, but someone unshakable. Months later, during an assembly, the principal called Emma to the stage. Tonight, he said, we recognize someone who turned her pain into power. Someone who showed us all what it means to stand up, even when it's terrifying. Emma stood before the entire school, the same students who once laughed at her pain, and told her story. Not in anger, not in shame, but with strength. She spoke of courage, of how silence feeds cruelty, and how even the smallest voice can shatter chains. The gym was silent. Not the silence of judgment, but the silence of awe. From that day forward, Emma was no longer the girl who was tied to the rafters. She was the girl who broke free. And every time she passed the gym, she no longer felt fear. Instead, she felt pride. Because she knew the truth, sometimes the darkest moments are where strength is born. Message. Emma's story reminds us that no matter how tightly the world tries to bind us, courage is the blade that sets us free. One act of bravery can change everything, not just for ourselves, but for everyone watching.